Before we begin, take a second to subscribe to the channel and stay connected. Your support keeps stories like this coming. I heard the tape measure before I ever laid eyes on her. A faint metallic click. Numbers quietly muttered as if to keep them private. The sound felt intrusive, almost improper, like something that didn't belong. I stepped into the hallway barefoot. The early morning still wrapped around me like a fading dream. And there she stood, my mother-in-law, inside my guest room, stretching the tape along the far wall with the cold accuracy of someone gauging the space for a coffin. She didn't look back at first, either unaware of my presence or deliberately ignoring it. "This wall will need to come down," she announced, palm gliding over the surface as if ownership had already transferred. "David, when we move in next month, we'll need this area opened up. The sea breeze will flow straight through when we move in." My heartbeat didn't race. It stopped. She turned, wearing a confidence she hadn't earned. "We've already spoken to a contractor. He'll start as soon as everything's settled with Claire." Claire, my wife, the same woman who had left early for yoga that morning. The same woman who, apparently, had made decisions I'd never been part of. And there was her mother, sizing up the beach house I inherited, treating it like an overdue gift she'd finally claimed. I didn't respond. My silence carried more weight than words ever could. She smiled, untouched by the tension she'd unleashed. "We'll turn this into a real family home," she added. Family, an interesting word choice. I walked away without a reply, but the unease had already slipped into the walls. From that moment on, the house felt subtly altered, as though someone had shifted everything just slightly off-center while I wasn't watching. Claire returned later, perfectly composed, not a trace of sweat, her yoga mat oddly spotless. She brushed a quick kiss against my cheek, distracted. Her eyes darted briefly toward the guest room door. Only a second, but long enough for me to catch the tight flicker of guilt. "Everything okay?" she asked. I nearly respected the performance. Nearly. "Your mother stopped by," I said, only 4 words. Her posture stiffened, barely noticeable to most, but not to me. "Oh, she didn't say anything to me," she replied. The lie came fast. Too natural. Normally, I might have searched for a reason to believe her. Not this time. Something had fractured, something deep. Her mother's words echoed in my mind. "When we move in next month. Not maybe, not someday. When." This house carried my father's name, and my name. It belonged to neither her nor her family. So why the certainty? Unless promises had become bargaining chips. Unless she traded something for a future that didn't include me. Unless I wasn't the only one she was planning tomorrow with. The realization didn't strike like lightning. It crept in, quiet and steady, like water seeping beneath a sealed door. We ate dinner as the sun dipped low. Her smile felt rehearsed. Her laugh delayed, measured. I watched her carefully, not with anger, not with accusation, just with the awareness that something was undeniably wrong. And she felt it too. The next morning, I started searching in silence. No confrontation, no emotional outbursts, just cold clarity. Her phone stayed face down more than usual. Screen activity spiked during odd hours. Her location history showed clean gaps, too precise to be accidental. I checked statements. Unfamiliar restaurants miles away. Ride receipts with drop-offs that didn't make sense. Tiny clues, but betrayal always whispers before it screams. I paid attention to her mother as well. The confidence in her tone. The mentions of fresh beginnings Claire supposedly needed. The deliberate avoidance of my name. They were preparing for something. A shift, a replacement, a quiet takeover. And for something like this house to be handed over, there had to be a trade behind the scenes. I started noticing her late-night messages reflecting in her glasses, her breathing shifting when her phone buzzed, the subtle way she pulled away from my touch. Nothing dramatic, just enough. I stayed calm, and that calm unsettled her more than anything. Still, I kept digging, call histories, cloud storage, files she assumed were gone for good. That's when I found it. A thread. Months of messages to a contractor, not just about renovations, but about schedules, moving in plans, about me being the final barrier. I read every line, every carefully chosen word. No shock, no fury, just a slow, icy clarity. They believed I was blind, that I was naive, that I was simply a roof and a signature. They were mistaken. The truth came wrapped in paperwork. A deed Claire had never bothered to study, yet built an entire fantasy around. My name stood alone on it. No joint ownership. No future claims. Just me, alongside it with the printed messages, screenshotted, dated, undeniable. I slipped everything into an envelope and placed it on the table. When she entered the living room, she understood immediately. The envelope, my stillness. Silence terrifies the guilty. "What's that?" she asked, her voice already trembling. I handed it to her, without a word. She opened it, read through the messages, watched her secret plans unfold in black and white. The color drained from her face, like heat leaving metal. Then she saw the deed. "David, I can explain." Her voice cracked. I didn't allow her the chance. "You were planning to move them in," I said calmly. She flinched as if struck. "You told your mother this house was hers. You told him the same." Tears filled her eyes, not for what she'd done to me, but for the future she'd just lost. "It wasn't like that," she whispered. "It was exactly like that." She tried to speak again. I lifted my hand, and she fell silent. "Your mother already measured the walls," I continued. "The contractor already locked in start dates. The only person you left out was the owner." Her breathing staggered. "I never offered this house," I said flatly. "You did. A home that was never yours to give." She collapsed onto the couch, shaking. I remained standing, grounded. "Where do we go from here?" she asked, voice small. I looked at her like a stranger wearing the face of someone I once loved. "You leave," I said. "I stay." Her composure shattered. She packed quietly. No arguments, no bargaining, just zippers sliding and reality settling in. Her mother didn't arrive. The contractor didn't call. She walked out alone. I stood by the window as the tide rolled in, the home finally feeling centered again. Betrayal carries weight, suffocating at first, then strangely clarifying. The truth didn't rescue me. It reminded me of who I was before someone tried to claim my life without permission. As her car disappeared down the road, I whispered the final reality, not for her, but for myself. Some structures shouldn't be torn down. Some people should.